I'm your Wednesday host, and you will have to bear with me because I am extremely tired tonight. But this week's topic is over unusual tools used in witchcraft. And I consider myself a pretty practical witch. I don't really use too many things out of the ordinary, but there is one thing that I do use, and I'm not going to show it on camera because it might offend some people, and that's the last thing I want to do, so I will talk about it. If you wish to see this item, leave me a comment down below, and I can maybe post a picture of it on my Facebook, but I'm not going to put it on video. So, a lot of people will use like chicken feet and different odd items like that in witchcraft that I don't tend to do. However, one of the items that, really the only item that I use is something that was given to me many years ago, and it was given to me by an old shaman that locally we have a big flea market that comes through twice a year, and it's called Friendship, and different artisans will come through twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall, and will sell their goods and different odds and ends. Now, not everything that is there is metaphysical. You know, there are people that just come there and try to sell yard sale stuff. But there are a few vendors there that sell metaphysical items and do readings and, you know, palm readings and different things like that. And there are some that sell like homemade drums and stuff like that. Well, they're, I'd say about five or 6 years ago, maybe, I had gone there one year, and we had found an older shaman. He was pretty up there in age, and he had been practicing for many, many, many years, and he had given me, I did not purchase this, this was given to me, an owl head. Now, this is a real owl head, not taxidermy, and the story behind it is it had died of natural causes. He had found it out in his woods, out behind his residence, and it was underneath a tree. It had been there for quite some time, long enough that it did not lose its feathers, but long enough to when he went to pick it up, he was going to bury it. However, when he picked it up, TMI, disclaimer, if you don't want to hear this, don't watch it, okay? When he went to pick up the owl to bury it, the wings fell off and the head fell off. He went ahead and buried the torso, and he kept the wings and the head and preserved it in salt for 3 years before he did anything with it himself. Now, when he had given it to me, he had explained to me what he had used it for, and he explained to me that owls are the messengers of witches, and they are very wise creatures, and they're very, I want to say cunning, but they're not, well, they are cunning, but they're very wise creatures, and with them being wise and being known as the messengers of witches, they can be used in various forms of messaging through the other worlds. And what he had done after he had preserved it is he would use it as a form of as a way to, I call this, what I call this, there are probably other people that call it something different, but I call it astral messaging. That's what I use it for. What I will do with it is I will keep it near my bed. I know to some that might creep them out, but I have a very close connection with owls, and they are my protectors. So I don't find them as a form of death, which is another thing that a lot of people associate owls with, is death, and I don't see them that way. Not to mention, the snowy owl is my spirit animal. So an owl to me is somebody that I can use. That sounds bad, but I don't know how else to put it right now. As a way to speak to my ancestors and my deceased family members. And what I do with my owl head is I will put it by my bed on this little pedestal that I have kept it on, and I will use it when I dream, and I will use that if I need to speak with a past relative, if I'm needing advice or anything like that. I will use that as a form of astral messaging to get advice and to speak with my ancestors about things that are going on in my life, things that are not going on in my life, how I can change them, what I can do to change them, and a lot of other people could possibly say, well, why are you using an owl head? Couldn't you do that with, say, a spirit board or a Ouija board, which I don't like to use? That's a completely different topic. Or any other form of divination to get advice from my past. And I would say yes, there are many other ways, but this is the form that I choose to use. And so that is my unusual tool that I use in witchcraft, and it's really the only one that I use. I do not talk about this too often because I'm extremely out of my comfort zone when I talk about something like this, but at the same time it's nice to be able to have you guys view me a little bit differently and see how I practice a little bit differently, because I'm open about my practice, but I don't openly discuss what I do and how I do it, because it's just private for me. The only other person that knows how I practice, and, well, everybody knows what I practice, but the only other person that knows how I practice is my husband, and it's because we practice together. But talking about this side of my practice is completely out of my comfort zone, and I don't usually talk about it. But with the topic being what it is this week, I felt, well, this is something that I could talk about, and if anybody else had one, then it would give them an idea of what they could use it for. So, my question this week, pertaining to the topic of unusual tools used in witchcraft, is if you were to own an owl head, how would you use it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you would use it for. Okay? Next week. Bye.